Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe if you are enjoying what you are hearing. Now, on to today's story. How does she, F40, do it? How does she cheat on me, M41, with so much ease? Rant hi, long-time lurker here. This is my first post. Looking for some advice to get over my cheating wife. My wife and I have been married for over 11 years. I recently discovered that she has been cheating on me for months with an ex-colleague. She was laid off a few months ago due to COVID, but my freelance job is still on, and I make enough. Yesterday she went out in the afternoon stating she just had to get out and see her girlfriends. I have been suspicious for a while now, so I go through her phone when she uses the bathroom. It was laid out in horrifying detail, him telling her he reached the restaurant, her replying him to order appetizers, her even sending money to him to cover her part of the bill, etc. He left the restaurant to check in a nearby motel and messaged her when he had, and she followed a little later with a bottle of vodka and a 6-pack. Later that night she messaged him, "You are so naughty," and him replying, "So I guess you liked it better this time, huh?" I took pics of all these conversations. I did not disturb her the whole day. My stomach is in knots though. I could not even think of her being this horrible person. We have had a good marriage, a few arguments here and there, but nothing significant. She has been a great wife otherwise, and an excellent mother to our twin boys aged 8. It was amazing to watch her go through her nightly routine as if nothing happened. She came back with burgers for herself and the kids. I told her beforehand I would have a homemade salad, tucked them in, came to the bedroom and applied her usual night cream, and lay down and asked me what I did since she was gone. I managed to mumble an answer, asked her about her friends. She told me a made-up story and turned to her phone. I guess that is when she sent him the naughty message. She is preparing breakfast now. We woke about an hour ago and she hugged me with a breezy morning, and went to brush her teeth and wake the kids. I am so numb. I cannot believe she cheated so blatantly and now acts as if nothing has happened. I am off to meet a lawyer later today to begin the separation process. I just cannot get how shameless she can be. I will follow his advice as to how to rip the band-aid off, but I want some insight into her thinking. How does one be so calm, so nonchalant, and act this happy? I am getting angrier by the minute. Edit, a few folks have mentioned if you are thinking of getting a divorce. I am. No two ways about it. She has repeatedly cheated on me and our children, so there will be no coming back from it. I will seek one-on-one therapy when all of this is done and dusted, and possibly for our kids too. I know whatever evidence I have is sufficient, but I cannot help thinking that there are other men involved, and to make a watertight case I will try to get more evidence. I am meeting the lawyer in a few hours and will see about having a female lawyer from his firm represent me, but that is an afterthought, really. She has said that she might head out again tomorrow. I have a feeling her girlfriends are complicit somehow. Edit 2, my heartfelt thanks to everyone who commented, liked as well as reached out via DM to comfort and motivate me. The advice I have been given here is hugely useful, and I will definitely benefit from it. Thank you everyone for your good wishes too. A small work-related problem has popped up. I will not be able to meet the lawyers till Monday morning. But I will ensure that I meet as many as possible, and will proceed with the rest of my plan after. I have been documenting everything, including money transfers from me to her since we were married, safeguarding documents and making inquiries for a PI. It will be a few days before I can update you good people, but I will definitely provide an update before too long. Again, thank you. Update, my wife, 40, cheated on me, 41. Update. Initial post, firstly, thank you, everyone. Your replies, Messages and good wishes have kept me going. Warning, this will be a long post. I wanted to do all this earlier, but work pressure and a health scare that involved my elderly aunt kept me busy. Just as well, because they kept my mind occupied. Plus there were meetings with the lawyer and the pie too that kept me on my toes. On Friday I finally did it. I came up with a plan and executed it with my lawyer's approval. But here's what transpired till then. Got a STI screen done as advised. Clean. Got a paternity test done for both my kids. Results expected on Monday. Hired a pie, an ex-PD. Expensive but so worth it. Shopped around in 2 to 3 firms for a lawyer, and found a real fire and brimstone type who was well referred, who hates cheaters. Again, expensive, but worth every penny. Have a buddy, let's call him Matt, from my school days, who is my age and has chosen never to marry. Lives alone. An absolute unit? Ex-military, works in cybersecurity. Confided in him fully, and held all my meetings at his place. My sister and her family live on the other side of town. Told her last, when everything was almost set into motion. She is my older sister and fiercely protective of me, and would jumped in with both feet if I had told her sooner. I just needed her to keep an eye on my kids. I sent them to her place for a few days. VA installed in her car, tucked an older iPhone in the seat pocket for good measure. Location taken care of. About 2 days after I first posted here, she met him again. Same pattern, same restaurant. Same seedy motel room. This time, had one of her single GFs, let's call her Beth, accompany her for lunch. The pie was ready. Got me pics and vids. Them having lunch? Beth was flirty with the AP, and even proceeded to touch him a few times. They saw her off, and headed to the motel together. There is just one motel close to the restaurant, and the pie did his homework. After being given the room the motel receptionist was asked to give them, they got busy. Pie got a few shots of them and sounds too. Music to my ears. She came home calm and collected, proceeded with her night as though nothing had happened. Had a chat, talked about how Beth was going through a crisis, blah blah. I empathized and told her about work and my aunt, wherein she said she might visit her. Next day, met the pie on the pretext of meeting a client, got a download. Hit the booze hard that night. Checked my guns. That always calms me down. The next day was spent with meetings with the lawyer, a client, this time for real, checked on my aunt again, came home. Nothing out of the ordinary. The very next day she met him again, which was rare. She would meet him once a week and that was it. Pie listened to convo in the restaurant, and was able to discern that AP was expected to travel for a week later that week, which was the very day I had planned to serve her. All this time I did not touch her besides morning hugs and goodnight kisses. This revolted me to no end, but I had to play the part. I must say this, I served her on Friday and could not sleep a wink on Thursday night. I would look over and over at her sleeping form next to me, and wonder if I screwed up somehow. Was I to blame? I knew I wasn't, but she would make me the culprit somehow. I ran every situation in my head 1,000 times. Woke up at my usual time and had 2 espressos instead of my usual 1 and popped a modafinil. That is when she dropped a surprise. She was going out that day. That's the 3rd time this week. Does Beth really need you that much? No, Beth's fine. It's my mother. She has to see a doctor for her joint pains and I said I would take her. Yay. When are you planning to take her? In the evening. I will leave earlier though. I might have lunch there. I said that's a good idea. And it was normal, as since she was fired she would have at least 1 meal a week at her parents'. But a quick call to my lawyer from the safety of my den confirmed the best time to serve her. When she was with her parents at their place. Her brother and his family were visiting too. Even better. I got back to work. Called the Pi home for one last download. He made copies of all evidence by then. I kept one in my safe. Sent the twins to my sister's place across town. Packed all her stuff in giant trash bags I bought the day before. The server confirmed via text at about 3 p.m. that she had been served. I calmly waited by the phone. The call arrived at about 3:20 p.m. Blah blah blah, what the hell? Sounds of Mill crying in the background, Phil yelling something. Not clear. Me in as calm a voice as possible, I need you to read everything that was sent carefully, and come over. Alone. Now. I disconnected the phone and switched it off. Unhooked the landline too. She arrived. Along with Beth. I asked Beth to leave. SDBXW said she needed her to stay. I calmly repeated that she had to leave, and that she was never welcome in this house ever again. A dictaphone was recording everything, so I wanted to be quiet yet firm. Beth said I'll stay in the car and left. Beth was the instigator of my SDBXW's infidelity, so I wanted that BSDCH out. Besides, she had no place in our family home anyway. I sat SDBXW down, gave her the Pi's file. Told her I knew everything. She went through the file. She looked pale, as if she saw a ghost. Said he was just helping her get a job, which is why she met him. Alright, how about this? Played the sounds of passionate lovemaking. Her jaw dropped to the floor. Showed her printouts of her texts with her AP. Showed them pics of them kissing in his car, walking around hand in the mall. You went through my phone. I think you have bigger problems than that now. I smiled. I proceeded to ask if there was anyone else, not that it mattered. She said no, there wasn't. Proceeded to show her raunchy texts with another guy and a woman. Looks like my beloved was sampling the other side of the buffet as well. She sobbed, bawled. Curled into a ball. Offered an explanation about being lonely, but I cut her off. I just wanted her to get the hell out. I need you to leave. Your stuff is in the trash bags in our bedroom. Take them and go. This is my home too. It ceased to be your home when you cheated on me and our sons. I lost it for a second here. Gathered myself, told her again that she was never welcome here, and should go now. Gave her the file, told her again to leave, get legal representation. She nodded quietly. At this point, I did not need anything. No explanation, no closure. Just needed her out. She said again it was her home and she was not going anywhere. Then I said, if you stay for another minute, I am going to call the twins via video call and tell them precisely what you did, and my sister will fill in the gaps as and when needed. She said, you cannot turn my kids against me. I said I will, if you do not leave this minute. Luckily she did not call my bluff, and stumbled out of the door, file in hand. She mumbled that she will be back for her stuff later. I called her parents and asked them to look at the file. Go through all the sound tapes too in the pen drive for good measure. That woman Beth was still waiting. They left. Drove to the AP's place with a copy, and met his wife. She is 5 months pregnant, and had absolutely no idea. Showed her the file, played the sound tapes. I must say, it was oddly satisfying watching her face crumble. She is a sweet girl, but I just had to let her know. When she began hyperventilating, I calmed her down, got her a glass of water, and asked her to call if she needed anything, and left a file with the contact details of my lawyer's firm. AP is returning today. She is undecided as to future course of action but said she will talk to her family and decide. Got home. Spoke to the HR at AP's company, my STBXW's ex-employer. Took her email ID, and told him she would receive a copy as well. She was empathetic enough. That is when it hit me. When packing STBXW's stuff, I chanced upon a bunch of photo albums that had everything. Her and I dating, a wedding album, a scrapbook she made when we had our twins, trips and picnics, etc. I tossed them on the bed when I was packing the bags. Now I went through them and cried my lungs out. Spoke to Matt and my sister, went on a drinking spree. He came by to check in some time later and I just hugged him and cried. Sobered up and saw that I had a healthy number of missed calls. Spoke to Phil, told him what my terms were. There would be a divorce, no trying to get back together, no couples counseling. His loving princess had ducked up and that was it. I would keep the house, and pay her off. As for the kids, if she decided to be too demanding regarding custody, I would fight to the end. Asked him to advise her against an adversarial divorce, else she and the family would be outed in every way possible to the seediest folks across the state. He mumbled an apology and hung up. Her brother dropped in with a pickup truck the next day to take the trash out, said she will live with them for a while. He could barely make eye contact while talking. And yes, made yet another copy of everything. My lawyer's firm has it, and they will hand it over to my sons when they turn older, along with a handwritten note from me. Just a precaution in case something happens to me. I wouldn't want them to miss out on mommy dearest's shenanigans now, would I? That's it then. Almost underwhelming in the end, but worth it. Heard rumblings that AP is already in trouble, and expect to hear more soon. I will update whenever something substantial comes up. I have taken a week's break from work, so I'm just now chilling in an empty house with the bar fully stocked and playing my favorite records. This took a while to type, and just thinking about it again is massively overwhelming. Thank you again, everyone. Edit, saw a couple of snide comments underneath. To those who think this is fake or fiction, I will only say this: may you never have to go through what I just did. Have a great Sunday. Update, not much has happened since. Matt and I have just returned from a hunting trip, my first in a while. It helped a great deal. AP has been fired from his job, not sure if he will be dumped too. I doubt it though. AP's wife looks like she is the forgiving type, and she has not gotten in touch with me or my lawyer since I met her. Beth has distanced herself from STBXW and is thinking of moving out of town. And STBXW calls every day asking for forgiveness and has left numerous teary messages. I listen to them and delete. My kids know that something is wrong, but are satisfied with the explanation I gave them. My sister's home is an empty nest, so she is more than happy to take them up for a day or a weekend. Soon, this will end. We'll send them to their mothers this weekend, the first time since she was thrown out. We'll update as and when things happen. Kids asked for their mother on Valentine's Day. Need support. If you have been following me, you know what happened in the past month and a half or so. My 8-year-old twins are mostly living with me while their mother figures out a living solution close by. She is on the verge of getting an apartment that I will have to pay the rent for, but that is fine. It all began when I was serving them lunch. They began asking for their mother and I said they can see her in the evening, upon which he replied that he wanted to see us together. I tried to explain what I said earlier: their mother will be staying separately because mom and dad have decided to do so from now on. He then began saying that other kids have both their parents, so why can't they? And a whole bunch of other questions followed. I was able to parry them all, but it was hard. I know this was just the beginning, and I know more question and answer sessions will follow. Telling them what is in effect a lie, that mom and dad have just decided to live apart without telling them why, is so hard, man. I feel like telling them everything. Thinking of what she did makes me so hate her at this moment. Edit, a number of folks have asked why am I paying the rent for her apartment. I have told her firmly that I will not move out of the home. She lived with her parents since D-Day, but now wants to move in closer for the sake of our kids. I will not impede her contact with our kids, but the downside is that I have to pay her rent. This is not a forever situation, and my lawyer is fighting hard to reverse or at least lessen the blow. Plus she does not have a job ATM. Things will change when she is employed, and my lawyer is keeping an eye on her status like a hawk. In other news, her AP broke up with her. His wife has asked him to stay till she gives birth and then will reevaluate their marriage. He is unemployed as well. Plus I have never done better professionally. Things have been great here. The kids suspect that their mother screwed up in a momentous fashion, and they look at her differently now. Karma is great. I told them that she and I will never be together again, and they understood. As far as the mods are concerned, all I can do here is post. Thanks for the awards, dear kindred spirits. My sons are the best. Progress. One of my twin sons crept into my bed last night. When I asked if he needed something, he said, "I know you are alone, so I thought of giving you some company." And in the morning I overheard the two of them talking about it. I am the luckiest dad in the world. Almost teared up while typing this out. God bless them. Edit, thank you everyone for the various awards. This really made my day. STXBW, F40 wants to talk, but I, M41, am having none of it. Need support. One of my sons has not been keeping too well on and off, and my STBXW has been coming home to see him and spend some time with him. She takes him to the doc too. He asks for her sometimes, and I ensure that I text her as soon as he does, so that she can come over. Despite whatever she did, she is still an excellent mother. When she arrives, I ensure that contact between the two of us is as minimal as possible. My other son answers the door, while I stay in my man cave, which also doubles as my home office. The door locks from inside. I have stockpiled a small amount of beer and snacks in here, and this space has an attached bathroom too. The only time I need to step out is when I need a proper meal or coffee, or if I need to leave the home altogether to meet a client or go see my friends. My STBXW texted me the other day from my son's bedroom, "Is this how it will be now?" And I simply replied yes. And then about 5 minutes later, I texted her not to disturb me, as I was working, and that she could see herself out when she leaves. I know she is dying to meet and talk and probably achieve some closure now that she knows that reconciliation is out, but I will not give her that privilege. Thoughts? I, M41, don't think I will ever marry again. Progress. Don't get me wrong. I have pretty much been a never say never sort of a guy all my life. I have never really dismissed an idea, even if it made no sense in the first place. Show up and follow through has been my motto of sorts. But this is something I will not go through again. To love someone wholeheartedly, to give them everything, to place them above and before you, to be there in sickness and in health, and a couple of near-death illnesses, to be awake all hours of the night nursing them back to health, to give them the benefit of the doubt over and over, to take all the shit they throw at you, to absorb their manipulation, lying, insults, BS, and gaslighting is something I do not want to put myself through again. To do all that and watch them flush a fully functional and loving marriage down the toilet like a turd is not something I cotton to, at all. To be cheated on by someone you love is the worst thing in life, period. I see a life ahead that revolves around me and my sons. I will see them grow, graduate, move out, go to college, perhaps fall in love and marry. I've had one marriage, they will too. They will explore the world, earn, spend, get their hearts broken, perhaps break a few along the way. One fine day, they might present me with a child of their own. But it will only be to me, and to me alone. There won't be anyone next to me. I've had enough. This life is mine alone. I will not share it with anyone. No one deserves it. Which takes me back to the first paragraph. What STBXW has done is not just cheat on me, she has changed me. From a person who was willing to give everything and everyone a chance, I have now become a cynic who first carefully evaluates how much is this going to hurt me before I commit to anything that is remotely new. Which is why I hate her even more now. Cheating was bad enough, her changing me is worse. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Have an awesome day or night, wherever you are.